Hey y'all, it's Megan. If you are returning to my channel, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome aboard. So in honor of spooky season, every year I do something that's a little bit creepy, a little bit spooky, things that are at Disney parks that are scary or creepy or just gonna give you the So this week we are going to talk about some of the Disney attractions that may not be intended to be scary, but they can be. I'm not talking about things like Tower of Terror, Haunted Mansion, stuff that is like meant to be kind of scary. I'm not talking about stuff like that. An example of like a very minor one would be It's Tough to Be a Bug. The show that is at Animal Kingdom Inside the Tree of Life. It's themed around a bug's life, and like a lot of people love a bug's life, right? It's cute, it's fun. Hopper is kind of terrifying sometimes when you're little, but for the most part, bug's life is fun. But if you are genuinely afraid of bugs or spiders or things like that, the section of the show where stuff crawls under your legs can be a little unnerving. I don't happen to be particularly bothered by bugs or spiders or anything like that. I definitely would not say that I have arachnophobia. So stuff like that, you know, it's kind of like, ugh, I don't like it. But I can only imagine that for someone who actually suffers with being really truly afraid of insects, I bet that is not a fun ride. And you know, it's not intended to be scary. It's not intended to bring trauma. But it might for people who are really afraid of bugs and really are opposed to the feeling of something crawling on you. They may not like the attraction so much. So things like that is kind of what we're talking about. Stuff that may not be what you would think of as a scary attraction right off the bat, but to a certain segment of people, it could be kind of scary. So let's hop over to Epcot real quick. Another one that you probably think, this is not a scary attraction. This is like the gentlest, most calming attraction that exists, Spaceship Earth. That big golf ball that we all know and love, she's beautiful, look at her. But it could be a little bit scary to some people. And I'm not talking about like the darkness, because it is a pretty dark attraction. So if you've got a little guy on there, maybe the dark would be scary. But you kind of know that going in, you know it's a dark ride. So that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the burning of Rome. Everyone who has been on the attraction knows what I'm talking about. There's a scene where Rome is burning. There's the smell of fire. There are people who absolutely love the smell that they have going in there that simulates that burning. You know, it's like a charcoaly campfire kind of smell. And a lot of people really love it. There are like candle companies and stuff that have made essential oils and candles and things that are the scent of Rome burning from Spaceship Earth because people love it so much. But there are some people who it is really, really uncomfortable for. It's kind of scary. My mom has had a lifelong fear of fire. She's absolutely terrified of it. And when we ride Spaceship Earth, she hates that section. Like, she knows what's coming, but she still hates it because anything that's the smell of fire, just like, it's that fight or flight kind of thing. Like, she jumps, she hates it. So I can imagine for other people, especially people who have experienced the trauma of being in a fire or having lost things to a fire, I bet it's pretty awful to just be riding a ride and then all of a sudden smell-o-vision hits you and you're like, what's burning? What's burning? I don't like that. And then you realize it's part of the attraction. So until you know that, it can be a little like off-putting. It can like be a little unsettling and kind of shocking to you. And it could be kind of scary and you wouldn't necessarily expect that. Let's go over to Magic Kingdom. So Space Mountain, not a particularly scary ride. It's a pretty like intro roller coaster for most people. It's like the first big girl roller coaster for a lot of people. So I don't think it's a particularly scary attraction. However, if you are a tall person, Space Mountain is terrifying. I don't have a problem with it. But my husband, who is almost a foot taller than me, when he's in the front car and he can see those beams and see how close they are to his head, he comes off the ride a little bit shorter than he was when he went on. Tall people do not like Space Mountain. It is universally just not a thing, especially for people who have ridden it with the lights on. I have friends who worked at Disney with me and they rode it with the lights on one time and said, never again. Now that I know just how much my life seems to be in peril, I'm not doing this. It is so close to your head, it feels like. Obviously, if there was a concern for safety, Disney would not let people who are too tall ride the attraction. I have heard rumors that Shaq was told that he couldn't ride because he might get his head hit. So I don't know if that's true or not, but if anyone was going to be too tall, I would imagine Shaq would be. But I just know from family and friends who are on the taller side, you know, I'm talking like 6 feet and above, they feel a little uneasy. I'm not gonna say like terrified, but a little uneasy on Space Mountain. So we're gonna go back to Epcot, another one there that I think is a little bit scary for some people, and I'm putting myself in this box. If you notice, a lot of these are going off of either my or my family's like personal feelings about it. So because that's kind of what I have to go off of, is personal experience, right? Mission Space is one that I am kind of afraid of. Is this the third space one? We've had 3 space ones. Spaceship Earth, Space Mountain, Mission Space. Apparently space is terrifying. The New Frontier, absolutely horrendous. So Mission Space is not scary to me in the way that it is to a lot of people. I love Mission Space. I am Team Orange all day, every day. Always have been, always will be. However, because so many people get sick on Mission Space, it's terrifying to me. If you have been around on my channel, or you follow me on Instagram, or you know me in real life, you know that I have, for my entire life, had a thing with germs, is what most people would say. I have emetophobia, which is the fear of people being sick, specifically the V word, which most emets will not say. We prefer to use euphemisms like being sick or something like that. But that's what emetophobia is. And so when I was younger and I would go with my family, we were a family of 4. So we took up an entire capsule. And I was fine with it because all 4 of us were like just having fun, you know. We're just like, woo, look at our arms, we can't hold them up. It's so fun when we spin. But then when I got married and it was just me and Cameron going to the parks, we're a party of 2, which means 2 random people get put in with us. And I don't know how those people handle motion. So the idea of being trapped in a capsule with someone who could feasibly be sick, it's an absolute no from me. We did it one time and there was a kid next to me who was kind of looking a little queasy, and I just about had an absolute panic attack in this capsule. I did not enjoy the ride. I was like, it is not worth riding it anymore because I don't enjoy it, because I spend the entire time being super paranoid about what's gonna happen over here. So if I had a group of friends that I knew were okay on the ride, it wouldn't be scary at all. I love the ride. But going on with strangers that I don't know how they handle it, that's terrifying to me because they could get sick and I can't handle it. So Spaceship Earth is one of those that you don't think it's going to be scary for that reason, but here we are. Our last one is the one that actually inspired this video for me, because on one of our trips, it wasn't our most recent trip this year, it was the trip before that, we were at Animal Kingdom. So we're hopping back over to Animal Kingdom, start there, we'll end there, and we were at Dinosaur. I love Dinosaur. We went to Dinosaur and we went and did the pre-show and, you know, hello there. And we saw Seeker and we are walking down towards the ketchup, mustard, mayo pipes. And there's this little boy who was in the pre-show with us, and we saw him, and he had headphones on, like big over-the-ear headphones, noise canceling. And we saw him, but we weren't, you know, like nothing was happening. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary. We just noticed that he was there. And as we're moving along, he starts like getting progressively slower as he's walking through the line. Like he's very hesitant. And he's kind of looking like he doesn't want to go on the ride. And he's like kind of like trying to hang back, and his parents are like kind of forcing him to go. And it became obvious to me and other cast members, people who have interacted with kids in this situation before, that he had a sensory sensitivity. And that I was like, oh, that's why he's got his headphones on. And he was kind of like rocking. His parents were like, no, you'll be fine, buddy. You'll be fine. Come on, let's go. It's dinosaurs. You love dinosaurs. And I think that's what a lot of people think. A lot of people think it's dinosaurs. My 5-6-year-old loves dinosaurs. What kid, what adult does not love dinosaurs? They see the sign outside, the warning sign that says like, dark places, scary dinosaurs. And people are like, oh, but it's dinosaurs. You know what type of dinosaur that is, and you know what like period in time it lived, and this kid loves dinosaurs. He wants to go see the dinosaurs. It might be a little dark, but you know, so was Winnie the Pooh. It was dark in there too. Like, just because it's dark doesn't mean it's scary. But people underestimate how loud Dinosaur is. It is one of the loudest, jerkiest, most abrasive attractions at Disney, in my opinion. My mom has neck problems and she will not ride Dinosaur. Like, she'll ride Space Mountain, she won't ride Dinosaur, because it will like mess up her neck and shoulders so bad, because it just really flings you around and it is so loud. I mean, we've gotten off before where our ears have like hurt. And we're adults who don't have a sensory sensitivity. So to see this little boy, and he was like obviously distressed, obviously did not want to go on, and his parents were trying to convince him to go. And there was a cast member who was like, he doesn't have to go. Like, we have we've got an exit over here, because I'm sure this happens a lot. People get down there and they realize, whoa, this is loud. We don't want to stay. And, they have a way to safely get you out of there so you don't have to ride if you don't want to. But the parents did actually, I'll say, encourage him to go ahead and get on the ride, and I hope he did okay. That is the only time I've ever been at a park where I personally wanted to like volunteer to sit out with someone else's kid, because like if the parents wanted to ride, I get that, but like this kid was miserable, and I was so upset for him. I was really upset that he was so upset. So first, if your kid is scared of something, please don't make them do it. You're just going to make the problem worse. Secondly, if you have a kid who loves dinosaurs, but maybe they have sensitivity to like really loud noises or really dark places, wait a few years. Wait until they express to you that like, okay, yeah, I'm cool with it being really loud. I get that. Like, it's fine. Because it can be really scary if that's not what they're expecting. If they're expecting this guy and they go in and they get that Carnotaurus screaming and chasing them down, it can really scare them. And we don't want to scare kids away from science and from dinosaurs, because they're pretty freaking cool, right? So like, let's let them do that in their own time and try not to take them on something that could be inadvertently really scary. So that is it for today. Those are the inadvertently scary attractions that I thought of just off the top of my head, and like I said, based on my experience and the experience of my family members. So what are some for you guys that are maybe an attraction that's not supposed to be scary, but for you, for whatever reason, there's a section of it that just terrifies you to your core, or there's something that just makes you like, I don't want to ride it because I know this one thing is in there or happens. Let me know what yours are down below. And also, like while we're here, tell me your favorite dinosaur. I am a 90s kid, so like Land Before Time, I am team Longneck, the sauropod, the vegetarian from Dinosaur. He's my favorite. Sauropod's my favorite. So let me know what your favorites are down below. And hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.